Hello there. So yes, this is the magic hour. The magic hour between 3 and 5 a.m. And I thought I would share with you actually in this time. So there's something I came across recently on YouTube, and I want to say a huge thank to all the people that create content on YouTube because there's some amazing stuff out there. And also, often what is more amazing is the comments. So it was a film about things you could do to improve your vision, and the guy didn't need to wear glasses anymore, except he was wearing a pair of orange coloured glasses, so he's protecting himself from the blue light, which is one of his things he thinks is a good thing to do. But it wasn't him, it was a comment. The comment referred to the fact that our eyes contain one of the largest numbers of mitochondria in our body. So here's our body, 37 trillion cells, more than 100 trillion microbiome microbes, and who knows how many mitochondria. Let's just say a lot. So here we are. What you suggest you to do is to go outside and look at the stars. So I've been doing that. This is a recent practice of mine, getting up this time of day, doing the things I do, doing Ahmed's meditation protocols, which I do. And these new protocols, I just remind you what they are. First of all, when you wake up, and I don't wake up with an alarm, no way. I am woken up. I am woken up by my dream. My dream wakes me up. It's interesting enough to wake me up. And I become aware of my breathing. And I enjoy my breathing, enjoy where I'm lying in my nice warm bed. And then I go into thank you, and I'm thanking everything that I can think of to thank, everything that comes up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Loads of that. And then I get my glass of water and I start drinking the water. It's not hot, it's not cold. It's what I call lukewarm, ambient. And that means I'm giving myself a cleanse just like that, so easy. And then the last of those steps was to go outside. So I've been refining this gradually over the day. So what I now do is when I get up out of bed, no light whatsoever, and I haven't planned any of this. It's just happening automatically. So I go to the room where my t-shirts are. I put on a t-shirt which I get from the top of the pile in the wardrobe. Then I see a jumper lying about, put that on, go into the bedroom, see the trousers. When I say see, I mean I just remember where the location is, so not really seeing them. It's more a sense of knowing where they are. Trousers on, socks on, whatever. Couple of jumpers, couple of cashmeres, and then I put on the ultra warm dressing gown that my daughter gave me for a present some time ago now. And also I took a blanket and I go outside with my blanket, warmly dressed. Yes, it's a clear night. I lie the blanket down on the grass. She was off lying myself on my back on the blanket, and it's like, yes. If you do looking at the stars standing up, as I've been doing up until now, it's like there comes the point when it hurts your neck. Well, that's ridiculous. I've been craning my neck, lying on the grass on the blanket with all the warm clothes on. Yes. And so what he says that the more time you spend looking at the stars, the more stars you see. And this is one of the things to do with healing of the eyes. One of the things to heal the eyes, which I actually learnt when I was 11, I was just given this spontaneously. It was obviously silent knowledge. It was downloaded to me at the time. Didn't know anything about silent knowledge when I was 11. So what I started to do, I started to vary my focus. I look at the book, I look in the room, I look out the window, I look at the trees, and I look as far away as I could, and I look at the sky. So applying that, but with the night sky, even better, because it means I'm looking at the night sky. I'm looking at the stars, and first of all I noticed the big ones, the brighter ones. As the dude said in his comments, gradually, over time, I started to notice the fainter stars, and then the fainter stars. Now we live in an area with a lot of light pollution, so it's not the best, but you do with what you've got, and it's still good enough. And so I discovered this. Yes, I was noticing this fainter stars and the fainter still stars, or even fainter still stars. And I was really enjoying it, and I got a completely different perspective. Something flipped in my consciousness. I thought, yeah, this is where it's at. I tend to think that the stars are out there, and I'm here on this planet. Well, what a narrow view, because in that position, lying with my back on the planet, Earth, I suddenly realised that I'm surrounded by stars on all sides, of course. The other side of the Earth, there's stars everywhere. There's the fence and the trees. I couldn't see the stars beyond them, but they're still there. So actually, I am lying with my back on the planet, and I'm surrounded by stars in all directions. It's just as I've got these two forward-focusing eyes, so those are the stars I'm focusing on. And that was pretty cool. And then something else happened after a while. I suddenly noticed one of the stars was moving. Oh, yeah, right, okay, well, that's obviously not a star. It's probably an aeroplane, I said to myself in my 3D rational mind. Some other thoughts did arise, like maybe it isn't an aeroplane, maybe it's something else. So I started to watch it, and once I watched one, I started to notice more and more. And actually, there's a whole bunch of things out there in the sky that are moving. And after a while, I noticed something rather odd, which is that I would expect these things that move, that look like stars, to be moving in a straight line. Some of them were, some of them weren't. Some of them appeared to be kind of wandering a bit and wobbling a bit, and it was like, that's interesting. So I'm having an absolute party out there, just me and the stars and my back on the earth. And it's just the best time, and I'm just so grateful. And I started doing my usual thing, which is to thank the guides and the helpers, the angels, the archangels, the saints, E.T. and the she, the elements, the elementals, the spirits, the wind, the rain, the weather, the climate, and the season. That's my reason. Thank you, the spirits of the land. Thank you, Mother Earth, the bountiful. Thank you, Father, Son, Soul. Thank you, Luna, the moon. Thank you. And here it all comes in. Thank you, the planets. Thank you, the planetoids. Thank you, the stars, the solar system, the constellations, the Milky Way galaxy. So there I was starting to do my thank yous about what I was actually looking at in the night sky. So it was really beautiful, and I was lucky about the time because I'm not using any alarms or anything. I'm not having any devices on, so I don't know what the time is. But when I actually switched the phone on in order to make this film, I noticed it was just before 4 a.m. So I must have been out shortly after 3. So that's really great. And actually, when I went to get the phone, I could see the beginning of the lightning of the sky at the very bottom of the sky in the east. So I had caught the stars at the best possible time. If you leave it until after 4 a.m. and where I live in England, then you've left it a bit late. You won't see the stars quite so clearly because the sun is starting to prepare to rise. So this has just been the best time. I'm just so grateful for doing all this. And what I'm discovering is I'm getting sun knowledge every day, and it's coming in different times. Sometimes it actually comes before I start doing any of these practices when I just wake up. Other times I'm doing the practices and I finish my mantras, and so all of a sudden I'm downstairs and I'm drawing this drawing, and it's a diagram, and I'm adding notes and I'm writing, and it's like, so it happens whenever it happens. It doesn't really matter. But what I discover, which is apparently what another film is saying, is that meditators have discovered that if you actually meditate between 3 and 5 a.m, it's the best possible time, and you'll get so much better results than at any other time in the day. And this gives me my cue. My cue is to thank my son, because many years ago what my son did, he didn't live a conventional lifestyle in terms of hours of the day. And he really loved to be up at this time. And also thank you to Ahmed. I know Ahmed loves being up at this time of day. But I say to people, if you're up between 3 and 5 a.m. when it's getting towards the end of your day, you're having to deal with that tiredness because you've been up a long time. So how cool is it to change it all around and actually wake up and start your day at this time of day? It's absolutely great. So the other thing, which I knew was an issue, which is, okay, so I'm waking up at 3 a.m. with a dream, I'm doing all these things. It's obviously affecting when I go to bed at the end of the day. So the end of my day has been as early as 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, kind of a sort of averaging out at about 9 o'clock. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, it's all very well, a bit inconvenient in some ways. And so it was meaning that I wasn't going out and doing activities in the evening at all, because it was just like, I couldn't be bothered, didn't really feel like it. But breakthrough yesterday, did the singing circle from 4 to 6, and then I did a job outside in the garden, Pendragon House. And then when I'd done the job, I thought, well, I wonder what's going on. And actually I got back and everyone was eating. So they said, come on, Keith, have some food. So I thought, oh yeah, that's my idea of paradise. Singing, doing some work in the garden, and food manifests. It doesn't get better than this. And it was a really delicious, very varied meal. And as you know, that I've been doing my version of the lion diet for a long time. I'm not doing the lion diet anymore. Beef still is my principal food, but it's not quite so principal as it was, but it still has quite a significant part to play in my food. And actually, there was a piece of fillet steak there for me. I thought, well, it doesn't get better than this. And it was cooked to perfection as well, so it was all better. And I realised I'm doing stuff. It is now evening. This is happening. So what I'd say to you is, if you do this thing what I'm doing, which is my dream wakes me up and I'm up this time of day, 3 to 5 a.m. So I'm not using a device, so I'm working it all out. And Ahmed's protocols of the meditation, 10 minutes of this and 5 minutes of that, 10 minutes lying in bed, 5 minutes looking at the candle. I don't bother about timing anymore. I just do it. No time. It's fine. It's great. So what I'm discovering is that the resilience is gradually coming back and increasing, and I'm starting to be able to do things in the evening as well, which is really great. And at the moment, I'm still very happy to find myself back at home before 9 p.m. and then getting ready for bed and going to bed early. But I have a feeling this is going to be flexible. And there's something else I'm going to mention while I'm on the subject. There's a particular sleep pattern which was very popular in the Mediterranean in the 20th century. It's died out mostly now, a bit sad, but it has. And it's called biphasic sleep. So you sleep not once in 24 hours, you sleep twice in 24 hours. And they called it the siesta. And after lunch, don't forget to have a nice bit of red wine, pretty big lunch. That's what they like to do in the Mediterranean. And then they would go and crash out and have a sleep. So that's what they did. So they'd have a siesta. So it's not like that for me. But what I am discovering is that either I'll have what I call a power nap, borrowing the term from 20th century executives, where at some point in the afternoon I'll simply think, half an hour, go to bed, half an hour. Doesn't matter if you sleep, doesn't matter if you don't, just do it. And so I do. And actually it happened to me yesterday. I got woken up by a phone call. So I don't quite know how long it was, but it was really good. So flexibility, where there's a little bit of time suddenly emerging, catch a little bit of sleep or just lie down. That feels good as well. So I am becoming an absolute convert about this 3 to 5 a.m. It is a magical time. I'm getting silent knowledge coming up every time at some point, which is very useful, all to do with what I'm going to be offering people in the near future. And I'll be sharing on this channel when the time is right, you'll be getting the invitations. Everything comes on YouTube before it goes anywhere else. That's the way I work. And actually, I've got an opportunity to make a very exciting film. I'm looking forward to sharing with you, but that's another subject, so I will leave that another time. And so this is how things are. And all the love to you, and all love to you once more. Thank you.